God, it's dark in here. How much longer do you think the power will be out due to these crazy winds? Oh, thank God, finally.
Power's actually been back on for a while. I just forgot we'd accidentally turned the lights off. Hello Lisa, and welcome back everyone else to another gut-wrenching and blood-pumping episode of The Struggle.
Laura, when you turned the lights on, I think you might have turned the heater on too.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit hot and feverish in here.
God, speaking of fevers, Footy finals has begun and our medical team has gone down to the G to see how the footy fevered patients are holding up.
Fever test!
Get your finals fever test!
Get tested!
We're just making sure you're safe tonight during finals fever.
Tested for finals fever!
Oh, boys. Do you want a bit of hand sanitizer? We're trying to keep safe during finals fever, mate. Oh, yeah, bro. Fucking take it all. Oh, mate. You want a bit of hand sanitizer? Trying to stay safe.
Thank you to this brave nurse who's been with us.
You're very welcome.
What are you guys doing to keep safe against the finals fever pandemic this final season?
I'm staying safe by wearing a mask.
Can we see the mask?
No, it's at home.
Excuse me, I'm just wondering why you're here at finals fever at a Hawks game and a Dogs game when you're a Tiger supporter. Are you a bit worried that you're going to get a bit sick?
Maybe.
Maybe. Do you need some protection? We have hand sanitizer.
Yeah, sure.
Give you a couple pumps.
Thanks.
Yeah, please stay 1.5 metres apart.
People's fever is here.
It is here, yes. And we just want to make sure we're the struggle doctors, and we just want to make sure that people are safe during
People are
finals
looking
fever.
safe. I think they are.
Yeah, well
I've been doing the same my end.
Look, they're not social distancing, they're not wearing their masks, and where are the hand sanitizers?
I know.
How are we staying safe during finals fever?
How am I staying safe?
Yeah.
One group of Melburnians who are worst affected by the finals fever pandemic are those babies from Box Hill, the Hawthorne Hawks.
That's right, my dear Molly. We on the show have been enamoured by the Riz-tastic TikTok content being pumped out by the Hawks on the daily.
It's this brown and golden era of football content that takes us right back to the prime of after 8 p.m. Channel 9 television.
Boys, take us away.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to the Footy Snow. What a show! Remember when people got paid for this stuff? I'm shitting money. Free-to-air television is and forever will be the peak of Australian media consumption. Well, we are at the end of another great season, and along with the Brownlow, the Norm Smith and the Premiership, punters are hedging their bets on the Abby Holmes medal. And so, boys, they hide behind TikTok handles and are only recognised by an outstretched hand holding a mini mic. But these social media admins are the up-and-coming stars of the game. So who do we think is in the running? Look, I'm not sure who's going to come out on top, but man, I gotta say, I love watching all that iPhone quality behind-the-scenes footage and getting a peek into all the banter, and of course, the mic'd-up gym sessions.
Don't forget the interviews that give us a new sense of gratitude that we finished high school.
Look, I mean, there were ups, there were downs. GWS, a few good hit-outs on Twitter. Sydney, still lingering on the time that Sydney Sweeney visited the club rooms. Crows nailed the give me my money trend. And who could forget Dacos's misses with all those get ready with me's. But for me, there's none other than Hawthorne. They jump on the what's up brother very much in its prime, and the team's continual readiness to fool the players for audience's enjoyment. I just can't get enough. But I think their best performances has undoubtedly been the Hollywood Hawks. I mean, I'm no film buff, but wow, I am captivated. Let's have a look.
The day that some obviously gifted film student wandered into Hawthorne would go down in history. The Stormzy edit? That is the confident, brazen play we like to see.
It has created historic ripples through the league, and no matter what team you support, Jack Ginnivan doing some attention-seeking goal celebration has snuck onto your feeds. And you can't help but like it. Don't lie now. And you know what I love most, boys? The fact that those media nerds cranking out cheap to produce sports-adjacent entertainment may have replaced something just like this show. And we'll wrap it up there. Good night.
handsome and respectful young men.
Absolutely. I believe the subjects of our next segment could do well to learn from the likes of Little Nick Watson and the lovely Changu Giath.
Here to deliver a hot dose of boganisms and misogyny, a Struggle FM stalwarts, Kush and Naso.
Good morning, losers. Welcome to the Kush and Naso show.
The only radio show that guarantees a low blow every time.
Yeah, we really do take pride in, riling up everyone. So here at Struggle FM, scum like us can thrive with a few ratings and at least one listener.
Yeah, especially in the midst of a radio war.
One of the more important wars going on at the moment. So remember to call us sometime at 666 999.
Yeah, Kush, you might have already heard about the guessing the piss from our neighbours, but have you heard of a new segment called Bump or Just Plum?
My Nasty, I love this game. People believe there are just some things you can't really ask women, so we do.
I mean, it's the reason we've dominated the ratings for around 7 years, because we know what the audience wants. Shout out to our producers. They're always coming up with the next big thing to milk our time on the airwaves.
So earlier today, we asked 3 women on our team to record themselves eating, and you're going to help us decide the prego amongst the fat.
Yeah, not one for the wokies out there. Hit it. Or our first caller of the day says they could be the only one. Let's make them feel extra special.
Hello, Carl. What do you think?
First of all, I love Kush and SEO. You guys have made Melbourne radio great again. My bet's on number 2. That bite seemed like it was feeding 2 mouths. For the record, you wouldn't happen to have video.
That's enough from him. We can't afford another phone from Akma. Karen's now on the line. What do you have to say?
Hello, ladies. Just dropping my girls off to dance and I couldn't help but chime in. BTW, love the show, and screw listeners who think it's too inappropriate.
Right there with you, Karen. Right there with you.
The only thing naughty here is that these women are eating burgers in the first place. What happened to a good salad? If you're hungry for a donut, just smell it. Nothing tastes as good as thin feels, ladies.
Oh, some great advice there for all the young women and girls listening. But let's get back on track, Karen. Who's your vote with?
I vote for number 3 because I could smell a fatty from anywhere and she's not one.
Congrats, Karen. And now for our next segment. We know women can't excel in anything.
So we're going to be ranking some of the Struggle's favourite females, from hot to just not.
And more of that after the break.
Is there some deeper meaning for us to infer, Laura?
I get paid to read the news, Molly, not think about it.
Well, in some more news we'll read and not think about, it appears that there is a trend for abandoning the Outback.
With the 3G mobile network set to receive the axe from Telstra and Optus on October 28th, concerns continue for non-city folk being able to access mobile reception.
Recently, the ABC documented how mobile services are so poor for some people, they are resorting to the use of radios.
Is reception out there really that dodgy? We cross live to our correspondent Toby, who drew the short straw and is reporting from rural Queensland.
Thanks, Molly and Laura. As you can see, it is really...
Is he frozen?
But anyway, that's just what's going on here in central Queensland.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure thing. Bastard thing! Back to you in the studio.
Oh, we lost him. Not really a great loss there, though.
And that last segment was brought to you by the NBN.
While we frantically reboot our routers and get on hold with Telstra, you lucky consumers can enjoy this tasteful selection of local ads.
We're sorry. All of our representatives are still assisting.
Welcome back, Kerry.
As we're unable to secure a network connection, the rest of this episode will be delivered via postal mail. Please stand by for our next segment.
You got mail.
Yes, this segment takes you across the seas to a story your parents don't want you to hear about.
Our Catholic correspondent, Leo, takes you now down a Paraguayan rabbit hole for the 411 on sex ed in Spanish.
Jesus! As reproductive freedom shapes up as a major decider in this year's US election, the state of reproductive rights in neighbouring Paraguay may shed some light on what a second Trump presidency may look like for unwilling mothers. Paraguay is the Catholicest country on the Catholicest continent and has some of the strictest anti-abortion laws anywhere in the world, where termination is an offence punishable by prison, even in cases of incest and rape. Paraguay has been under the control of the populist Colorado Party for 76 of the past 80 years, including a period of dictatorship through the 50s. But somehow, Paraguay still has the highest ratings of teen pregnancy on the South American continent. It was for this reason that the Paraguayan Ministry of Health this year released its first sex education curriculum. But reports from the Associated Press claimed that what should be a major step forward for socially conservative Paraguay has not been well received by feminist and progressive groups. I sat down with Sister Andrea Indoro of Melbourne's Paraguayan Catholic Church to understand how such a fertile nation is learning to close its legs.
My child, this policy is a first for our country. It spans from the 1st to the 12th grade, so I'll just give you the gist of what we're teaching the chicos. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Condoms cannot be trusted. This counter science of disease protection. Numero dos, abstinence the only option. Sex was invented as a gift for married people. Numero tres, we stress traditional gender roles. Girls have smaller and lighter brains. Numero cuatro, that masturbation causes harm. Baby Jesus sheds a tear whenever you do. And numero cinco, threats to control men's behavior, cause a man cannot control himself when he sees your boobs. Now do you understand? You know, sister, maybe you're right. Maybe only by devoting our lives to abstinence, chastity, and service of the Sacred Heart can teen pregnancies be stopped. Sage advice for the clowns in Congress. Back to you light-brained women in the studio.
Yeah, just as I suspected, Leo has been poisoned with poisonous saliva.
Leo Roboto there with another predictably sensual and educational story.
Moving on now from one loudmouth white person to another. Our long-serving and oft-suffering producer Liv has spent this past week getting comfortable with titties and the long-term implications of owning a pair.
Elle Macpherson, an iconic 80s and 90s supermodel, nicknamed The Body, gave a generation's worth of young girls and women crippling self-hatred for their own meat suits, has turned alternative remedy enthusiast and traditional medicine denier. Just last week, Elle announced her struggles with breast cancer with the great medical Lancet, Women's Weekly. Upon receiving the diagnosis, Elle decided to ignore 32 doctors and switch out the usual treatment of chemo, radiation, and a mastectomy for an intuitive, heart-led, holistic approach, which included a lumpectomy and probably some green juice cleansing. Naturally, this has enraged a lot of people, from breast cancer survivors to doctors, who were all worried about the power of Macpherson's influence reigning supreme again, influencing those once girls, now women, to forego chemotherapy and choose a path of death. I also find it very interesting that at the time of this treatment and diagnosis, Elle was dating disgraced Dr. Andrew Wakefield, who believes that vaccines cause autism. Apparently, it worked. And all the power to her, I guess. But what do I know? My only knowledge on this topic is from my light reading of the cancer journals by Aud Lord, two aunts pushing grass now 6 feet under, and my last standing grandparent having pre-cancerous cells identified over a year ago. So I'm totally not qualified or passionate enough to have an opinion on this topic.
Back to you in the studio.
While it's tragic to see a pioneering something shot down in her prime, the best way we can honour her memory is to continue her legacy. Like she always said, the news never stops.
To raise our spirits and instill a fear of neo-fascism in all of us, Bailey's been snooping around the traps of German politics, where things have gotten a bit retro.
Thuringia. The German state, known for its hiking trails, winter sports resorts, and apparently political extremists. The Alternative for Germany Party, or AfD, has won last week's state election, garnering 32.8% from German voters. Now, while the party advertising how alternative they are sound like some sort of greeny leftist group helping find the besto cappuccinos and giving advice for asshole moon bleaching, it is in fact very, very different from that. The AfD is a far-right extremist political party spreading anti-immigration, anti-Islam and anti-reasonable ideologies. Led by ex-history teacher and assumedly Hearts of Iron 4 connoisseur Bjorn Höcke, the party has made waves across the East German state. This has caused outcry from Thuringians, with citizens protesting on the street and influential public figures sharing their disdain for the party. Not only has Höcke's regional party been labelled as a proven right-wing extremist group by German domestic intelligence, but he has also been charged twice for quoting classic Nazi rhetoric in his political speeches. Now, it is important to mention that this is the first time since 1945 that a far-right party has made it anywhere close to the German government, and the similarities between the AfD and those face-melting villains from Indiana Jones doesn't quite end there. Höcke has made it clear that he has disdain for the Berlin Holocaust Memorial, as well as the German commemoration laws. His party runs a youth group, indoctrinating the young people of Germany into believing in their right-wing rhetoric. I mean, even the way he looks and acts seems a little similar to a certain Austrian old boy. But I mean, surely everything will be all right, right? No, I'm sure it'll probably be fine. I mean, I don't think Höcke ever tried to get into art school.
Moving on from fascists spewing hot air to teens sucking it up, the issue of disposable nicotine vapes has hung above the Australian psyche like a smoky, fruit-scented cloud all year now.
As new data emerged linking the youth vaping epidemic to young people's drastically declining mental health, the Struggle now has exclusive access to an upcoming campaign from the federal government that tackles this insidious problem.
Hi, I'm an unlicensed psychologist working with the Australian government, and we are shocked to read that teenagers who experience mental health problems are more likely to vape. But let's not sit on that problem. Let's work our way towards solutions. We are introducing bulk bill vapes that will provide teenagers with more accessible vape options, which will help improve their mental health. Included within these bulk bill vapes, we have a variety of flavors: mixed berries, unmixed berries, blueberry, raspberry, watermelon, strawberry, or my personal favorite, grape. For good mental health, it's important to have choices in life. Science tells us that nicotine withdrawal can lead to mood changes, difficulty concentrating, feeling nervous, restless, or even anxious. We don't need teens to experience all of this on top of anxiety and depression about their lack of future with a climate crisis and whether they'll pass Year 8 maths. Give them nicotine. Even if the future is bleak, we want them happy. Double apple a day keeps 2 doctors away.
First medicinal marijuana and now medicinal vapes. It's amazing how far the Australian healthcare system has come. The government has been doing some good stuff.
Speaking of the government, Bill Shorton's Sweeten is retiring from politics. Our Disabilla babe begged and pleaded with producer Liv to put to air her thoughts on the matter.
True believers.
Hi, I'm Amy, resident Disabilla babe here at The Struggle, and I'm at Bill Shorton's headquarters. The Commander-in-Chief of Disabled People, Bill Shorton, has announced his retirement from politics and is therefore abandoning the NDIS altogether. So, I got to thinking, who could possibly represent the disabled in Parliament? Could it really be someone with a disability? With me at the helm of the NDIS, I say NDI yes to the things we really need. More funding for weighted blankets, fidget toys, and noise cancelling earmuffs. Oh, and a budget for sex work. Much like the disabled, sex workers are people too. Bill Shorton has orphaned the NDIS to become Vice-Chancellor of the University of Canberra. I, a humble ruler, would never do that. My proof? I work as a nurse. I clearly don't care about the money and care about the people. As a deaf person, I know what disability babes think. So why not give the job to someone who can do more? In fact, call me Magneto, the saviour of the disability babes, the one who will cleanse us of all the neurotypicals so we can rule the world. Bill Shorton has lost 2 federal elections. How many elections have I lost? None. Seems pretty clear-cut to me, Australia. I should rule the NDIS.
Damn, that's a girl I'd vote for.
Laura, I don't think we get a choice. The government appoints those ministers.
Yeah, but still.
Enjoy these ads. Not sponsored by the NDIS. Welcome back, Gregory. Queensland has introduced stricter fines around the unintentional feeding of crocodiles, attracting them to loiter around public spaces.
Yes, the act of unintentionally feeding a crocodile by leaving food scraps is now illegal. The maximum fine for which could set you back more than $6,400.
Intentionally feeding a crocodile? Well, that's going to set you back a maximum of $25,000.
To find out how the people of Queensland are finding these fines, we're joined by the crocodile hunter who was crocodile hunted, Paul Haywood, unintentionally feeding a crocodile.
Mr. Haywood, can you tell us a bit more about how this happened to you?
G'day. One minute I'm having a walkabout next to the local creek. The next, my arm's being death rolled by a croc. Hurt like a bugger. I'm lucky to be alive. Unlike that other bloke back in the Sunshine State, he got fined, the bugger. Still, that sounds like unintentionally feeding a crocodile to me.
How did your arm end up in the crocodile's mouth?
Struth, mate, my arm has, well, had a mind of its own.
A mind of its own? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, a mind of its own, you know. Sometimes my arm would take me places. Never knew when it was going to start, slithering through the air, dragging me along. Got me into all sorts of trouble.
What has been the hardest part of your healing journey?
The stitches. No, definitely copping the fine I got for unintentionally feeding the crocodile my arm. The government doesn't seem to understand that my arm had a mind of its own. It led me to the creek and now my life's over. I am never going to afford to pay back this fine.
Well, 2020 and the pandemic that came with it brought the world so much joy.
Take me back, honestly. Whipped coffee, Among Us, a raging eating disorder fueled by Chloe Ting workouts. We didn't know how good we had it.
There's something about the world locked inside, bonding through fleeting trends on social media and Netflix that made us feel so connected.
After a tiger mauled its handler at Queensland's Dreamworld last week, it brought us straight back to those 2020-fueled warm and fuzzies. And of course, the great lockdown uniter, Mr. Tiger King himself.
We invited Joe Exotic and his favourite member of the infamous polycule to give us some insight into animals in captivity and what we can do to stay safe.
Thanks for having me. I actually got extra data for this. Anyway, I don't think Dreamworld can ever financially recover from this. I've always said if you're gonna keep big cats, you gotta keep them emaciated. So when they bite someone, them teeth so weak they're gonna fall out right away.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a lot about tigers. I know that they bite sometimes. Well, they will bite you if you poke them with a stick. Stick meth pop up its ass.
That's right.
So, the Dreamworld tigers didn't have meth in them.
Well, at least we don't think so.
Could there be a non-meth related reason a tiger might attack?
Nah, it's always meth.
I mean, sometimes, if perchance, theoretically and hypothetically, an employee might potentially stick their hand in a very dangerous cat's cage, they might technically be horrifically mauled.
And is that what happened at Dreamworld?
I mean, Dreamworld is a very notoriously safe space.
For tigers, that is.
Yes, reports say that this trainer actually had qualifications to be dealing with the wild beasts.
Absolutely unnecessary and over the top.
And a waste of money, may I add. Could be used for meth.
Well, the woman in charge of the tiger that day...
Did you just say woman? I told you, women cannot be in charge of tigers. I think Carol Baskin has something to do with this. There should not be a single woman in this planet in charge of tigers. Ah!
Wow, what a hero.
I know, what an honour. Who's that little fella with him on the leash though?
Anyway, if you thought Joe was a hero, the Australian Greens have recently heralded the reign of a hero of their own, the Great Green Watchdog.
We sent our own damsel of distress, Violette, to catch up with the Crusader of Justice.
And she sent back this.
The best thing about being a minor party is promising idyllic policies with absolutely no practical applications. Because Aussies aren't going to vote for the environment. So to scrape in a few extra votes, we're promising a landlord watchdog to investigate the mouldy cabinets your landlord won't replace. Definitely not to steal the votes of tired renters back from TikTok star turned Socialist Senate candidate Purple Pingers. Sounds great, right? Only thing is that it completely exceeds the powers of the federal government. And we don't exactly know how we're going to police what goes on in crappy share houses. But if you want a federal government watchdog inspecting your leaking tap, then by all means, vote Greens. Don't think of me as a weirdo under your bed. Think of me as the brave protector of rental rights that also happens to be surveying the cracks under your bed. Do you have a moment to speak about the environment?
To be a minor party. Reckon we could jump on the Senate ticket before next year's race kicks off?
Maybe, but we'd in all likelihood be up against some stiff competition.
What? Fiona Patton? I'm not afraid of her.
No, you big silly. I'm talking about the internet's loudest, proudest and potentially most annoying hero, Jordan van der Lam, aka Purple Pingers, who's running for Senate in Melbourne.
Alright everyone, when I heard Melbourne's loudest, proudest and privately educated hero, Jordan van der Lam, aka Purple Fingers, was hanging up his tiny mic for a shot at the Senate, I had some mixed feelings. I'm not lying. As a Victorian socialist volunteer, I was unsure of what he was gonna do for the party. But when I heard he was the party lead for the next federal elections, it hit me. Media attention. So I started to brainstorm which other influencers could fit into the ministry. Abby Chatfield can be a security minister. She's perfect for this because she has saved her boyfriend from tons of trolls on social media, just like how my mom saved me from bullies at my school.
People comment, he's not my type, or like, I don't get it. I have to hold back everything in me from saying, you think you're his type?
Sofa Dofa, a fashion influencer, will be my fashion minister. She's so powerful that her single post can send stock prices of any brand soaring. I'll be honest, today's youngsters, they don't care about climate change or the cost of living crisis. But for them, Sophia's latest outfit is the real news. Well, that's how a piece of news should impact. And to round out the team, Robert Irwin. I'll make him the Minister for Orphans. He is not technically an orphan though, but he does have middle-aged hair. And he'll bring some real attention to our campaign, as seems to be his speciality.
Sticking with our theme of government, our own environmental expert Sienna Frackerman was last week contacted by the state governments of Western and South Australia as a part of a new campaign aimed at stopping single-use plastics.
Rather than have her film a real news segment this week, here's what she came up with.
Hello, Sienna Frackerman here. A quick PSA for Western and South Australian residents. Some big changes are coming your way. And I know you don't have anything better to do after 8 p.m, so listen up. Since both states are devoid of any defining personality traits, they've decided to double down and introduce a ban on single-use plastics, so that soggy paper straws are in the hearts and the minds of the people. Expect to see your local coffee house throw away its aesthetic, branded plastic cups for a discreet sign saying, "Please bring your own reusable mug," that you only see when you get there. So get ready to swap BPA and microplastics for the unfired ceramics you made in primary school. As we continue on this trajectory, you can expect to see a crackdown on other single-use items. With the average Australian using 88 dunny rolls per year, our arseholes will have to pucker up and toughen up, as the luxury of super soft double ply will be replaced with the age-old question, Let it cheese or let it crust. Next on the chopping block are condoms. But don't worry, this will bring back the contraceptive blast from the past with sheep intestines making a comeback. On the topic of nut prevention, EpiPens will be making their long overdue departure. Finally, the gene pool will be free from the weaklings that cannot stomach cashews. We thank you for your upcoming cooperation.
And with that, our season draws to a close. You know, Molly, despite your countless flaws and personal failings, I've grown quite fond of you over these past 2 seasons.
Wow, Laura, it's really big of you to say. It's been a struggle working with you, but as I sign off the desk for one final time, I'd like to take this opportunity to give a deep, heartfelt thank you to all who've worked so hard to put this show together. And lastly, to you at home, I'd like to... Struggle.